Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to Shanghai. Wow, we had two very interesting sessions hosted by my colleagues in Beijing and Hong Kong. I got some valuable information, and I do hope it was inspiring to you too. And I hope that everyone who joined from the beginning when we broadcasted live for the first time from Shanghai is still with us. As you see, in the meantime, here we in Shanghai changed the setting a bit for today's third session. Those who tuned in since the beginning should have realized that. We prepared the stage for our panel discussion with representatives of 4 outstanding Austrian companies here in China. They will share with you how they navigated successfully through the rough waters of COVID in China. I'm sure their experiences, lessons learned, and maybe as well little pitfalls will shed some light on the most pressing questions for the China business at the moment. So I'm looking forward to a lively discussion with them and obviously well with the audience here live in Shanghai and those who tuned in virtually. But before we start, I'm looking at the screen, no, at the other screen, to check if our connection to Vienna is up and running. First of all, unfortunately, we had some last minute changes. Michael Otter had to take care of urgent tasks in the COVID task force, where the Austrian Chamber of Commerce works daily to support Austrian companies. He sends his best wishes. He would have loved to join you for this session, but unfortunately he had to take care of other things. But then it is my great pleasure that Mr. Patrick Sagmeister, Deputy Director General of ADVANTAGE Austria, steps in. He holds this position since 2017 and has worked in many ADVANTAGE Austria offices in Asia, Europe, and all over the world. So I think the connection is up and running, right? I think we should have Patrick Sagmeister now on screen.
Hello,
yeah.
Christina.
Patrick, good to have you with us today. Thanks for taking the time in your busy schedule. First of all, I should not turn around, right? I would like to start with one question. How is the situation at the moment in the head office? I heard you're working in teams. How is the situation on the ground at the moment?
Hello, Christina. Great to be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, a great pleasure to be back in Shanghai. Long time since last time. I never thought it's going to be this way, but still a pleasure, a great pleasure to be with you. Here in Vienna, we are doing well, although the figures are going in the wrong direction at the moment, and we are in a second lockdown since Tuesday, where we have rules that are not quite as strict as in the first lockdown, but anyhow we are not supposed to leave the house between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. so at night time, and the other restrictions too. So life is a little bit different, and also here in the chamber it's different because it's quite empty. Most of us are working back home, only a few are here in the chamber. We have about 25% of our staff here in the chamber, and the rest are productive from back home, thanks to digital tools that we have learned to use throughout the year. That is, thanks God, that is not a big problem.
Thank you for sharing this with us, and we are very happy that all our colleagues in Vienna are well, safe and sound, and obviously following all rules and precautions in order to stay so.
Yes,
this actually leads directly to my next question. How is the economy doing in Austria? And above all, how are our exporting companies doing, and what are we as ADVANTAGE Austria doing to support them? Do we have to change our measures, our projects? What is your take on that?
Okay, I'll start with the first question. How is the economy doing? Well, obviously, it's a very, very challenging situation. We are, as I said, in the second lockdown. That, of course, does have severe effects on our economy. For the year 2020, there is a estimated GDP growth of more than -7%, 7.7. That's the latest estimate. And the rebound in 2021 is going to be about 3%. We were hoping for more, but due to the second lockup now, it's a little bit, the figures have gone in the wrong direction. Of course, I mean, Austria is a very small and open economy, so international business is very, very important. The travel restrictions and also the weak economic outlook and situation in our main in the countries where we sell most to has led to the fact that exports have gone down by 11% in the first half of the year, and that of course has negative effects on the economy. Also, this negative situation as a whole has got also negative effects on the private consumption, which has also gone down. The hardest hit sector is obviously the tourism sector, entertainment sector, due to the fact that people cannot come to Austria and due to the fact that restaurants are closed. That is a really big challenge for that sector. Well, considering all those facts, the situation is not easy, but now with these new measures taken, we are optimistic that we can get the situation under control quite soon. We as the Chamber are doing our maximum to support the companies, to give them clarity about the rules and support them in the daily tasks. You also, Christina, did you also say, okay, where do we see the challenges? I think you put a few questions in the beginning. I'm not quite sure. Did you?
What I was very interested as we as a service organization, you mentioned already how the situation is going and what do we do? Do you see how can we support Austrian exporting companies? What do they need now from us most in order to continue doing their job, their business abroad? Because as you said, Austria is a small country, but export is one of our major drivers of the economy.
Okay. Well, Advantage Austria is the international arm, so we take care of all international things. And one thing that is not our core business usually, but which is very important now, is we help to get the workers from across the borders to Austria, so that the company still can be productive, because there are a lot of workers from Czech Republic, from Slovakia, from Hungary working in Austria. So we got to make sure that we lobby that these people that pass the border on a daily basis, that they can come and that they can work and that the companies can do what they're supposed to do. On top of that, I think you already mentioned it, we have like special hotlines here where we support Austrian companies in critical questions, being just how to apply for a government aid or how to solve certain problems. So we have these call centers that we also operate here in the Chamber. And in terms of internationalization, in terms of what we do, we of course have to do a lot of things, not face to face, but we have to do it like on a virtual basis. For an example, we had our Export Day, our flagship event in June, digital for the first time, 2020. That had positive effects because we had more companies than ever. We had like 5,000 companies participating. We had like over 3,000 B2B talks. That's all very positive and good, but we have to. Of course we miss the face-to-face thing because that's a different thing, and that's also we also miss usually we do a lot of events abroad on trade shows and use this platform to show the Austrian brand, and that we're missing. We cannot do these things. We have to do it virtual, which on one hand is very good, and we are thankful that we can do that. But for business development, that is a challenge for Austrian companies. But we support them even in that way. One more thing, maybe we have like a digitalization check or that we give to the companies, so that they make sure that they, even if they're not present on trade fairs, but they are have the possibility to do online campaigns, be on the right selling sites in the different markets, so that they're have a strong presence on these digital channels. That's something that we support very strongly.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for sharing this information with us. How's the situation on the ground? obviously, as I said, we would love to have you here, your colleagues, and as it was mentioned during the last few sessions, obviously there's the China International Import Expo going on. We have an Austrian group pavilion. Even there, apparently no company representatives from Austria are here at the moment, but we hope that next year this will change again, and then you and all our colleagues will join us again for events here on the ground.
Let me just, Christina, just allow me one more remark, because I have to say, I mean, in this situation, it's important to keep a good spirit and optimistic spirit. And we are sure we will overcome this crisis, just like we have overcome any other crisis before. But one of the most inspiring experiences I had last week was actually a talk with my colleague, with Michael, in our office in Beijing. And it was good to have this optimistic Chinese spirit, because obviously in China things are going very well already. The numbers are going in the right direction and are very, very good. And it was great to have this positive spirit from this talk. It was really inspiring, and we got to make sure we get this energy. I got it, and we got to make sure we transfer that to the Austrian companies. And then we're also in a very good position very soon if they have this optimistic spirit.
Thank you very much. I think I don't need any more introduction now to the panel discussion after what you said. I think you set the scene perfectly. Thank you so much. And I hope you probably in your busy schedule find some time to still stay with us and listen to the panel discussion here in Shanghai. Thank you so much, and all the best to Vienna, Patrick.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you.
Thank you. So, our colleagues in Vienna, you hear, are positive about us being positive about China. Let's see if my guests here today will share the same insight with us. Let me briefly introduce them to you. Next to me is Mr. CJ Pua. He's CEO of Business Unit Mobile Devices and Substrates at AT&S China. He holds a bachelor degree in physics and applied physics. He set up AT&S Asia Pacific office in Hong Kong back in 2003. And he is based in Shanghai since 2005. And the position as CEO he holds since 2014. Mr. Pua. Next to him is Mr. Weirong Xiao. Weirong Xiao is Managing Director of B&R Industrial Automation China. He graduated in China and Germany. He opened the first B&R office in China back in 1996. And since then, he developed the company further and further in China. Thank you for being with us. The third panelist is Mr. Benjamin Schatzel. He's Regional Sea Freight Director, Asia of Gebrüder Weiss, China. He spent 14 years of his career as a trained logistics professional in Asia in multiple roles, and he joined Gebrüder Weiss in 2013. Then our next female panelist is Ms. Kerstin Nemeth. She is CFO of Porsche Automotive Investment. She looks back to an extensive professional experience with Porsche Holding. She took over her current position in China 8 years ago. And she held various management positions beforehand. So thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Kerstin, may I start with you? Can you summarize your situation at the moment? How did you deal with COVID? What did it do to your business?
Yes, thank you very much, Christina. I'm happy that I can share my experience and the experience of my company with you. The situation today is excellent, but this was not what we could look for in end of January or February, because we were also hit, like all the other businesses here in China, a lot, and we were really shocked also about the full lockdown of all the business. So also we had to shut all our retail dealer network all over China by the end of January. But let me talk about this crisis from 3 aspects. The one aspect is the business aspect. Then the second aspect is the organizational aspect. And the third aspect, from my point of view, what we had to deal with is also the epidemic aspect, to make sure that you do not get an epidemic in your own retail dealership. So the operational aspect is this: the whole business was closed, something what we could never expect in former times, that you have a month with nearly no turnover, no business. And it made it even worse that all the people were spread all over China. Everybody was traveling to his family because it was Chinese New Year. And in China, so far, we had not home office. The people did not take their laptops with them. They did not take the USB tokens for bank confirmations with them. So really, the whole business somehow was in crisis. On the other hand, the organizational part is you still have to do your payments. You still have to do bank authorizations. Also, as part of Volkswagen AG, a stock-listed company, we cannot tell them, oh, we are so sorry, we have crisis. We cannot deliver monthly closing to you. That's impossible for a stock-listed company. So also from this point of view, we had to cope with it. We had to deal with it somehow. And the third part is also, on the other hand, to take care for the people and to make sure that we do not have a COVID-19 case in our company, also to protect our people and to protect the customers. So this was the situation we were in, and where we needed solutions. As I told you, we are now lucky. We somehow came out or coped with this business, which made us even stronger. And maybe I can share later a little bit with you how we coped with it, and give some impression also to the audiences here and to Austria, what from our perspective, my perspective, are things which made us so successful.
Thank you very much, Kerstin. I will definitely get back to that with you and the others. Benjamin, you're in logistics industry. Can you compare, or do you agree to what Kerstin said?
Well, there are similarities. I mean, everybody was shocked, certainly, what happened in February after Chinese New Year. But we also had the opportunity to have great support from our head office. I think in the first couple of weeks, our busiest department was IT. So we also had to make sure that the operation is running. And we also had a little bit of an advantage that the Chinese government advanced a little bit the Chinese New Year holiday. So we had to prepare and had the opportunity to make everything up and running. So that was for us the first priority, to keep the operation up and running. And then similar, it was a new learning for many of our staff to work from home, to miss the team spirit, to go back to the office. But I think we had an excellent setup, and everything worked very, very smooth. And then we started to learn to cope with it. And fortunately, here in China, it opened up better than expected. I think our last office went back to the office, I think pretty much with everyone, was in Wuhan in April. And then afterwards, we had obviously a slow recovery, and we had a good start and a good return already in the second quarter. So from that perspective, it has developed very well here in China for us. And today, I think we are in a better position, and obviously better than expected than what we first thought.
Thank you, Benjamin. Mr. Xiao, you're in an industry everyone is talking about, automation. Were you hit hard? Did you get over the worst of COVID in China?
Thank you, Christina. So, you know, we are in the industry of automation, this industry. So the COVID-19, of course, is a challenge for everyone. So we have three kind of difficulties. The first one is, so the physical contact is not possible. The second contact is our customers have their machines on site. They have to support them. And the third problem is supply chain. So that time is that there are no flights. There was very few flights. So the cost of flight are 10 times high. So we have to really prepare for the customers. For example, safety stock. The Vienna in China is until now we have only 10% localization. 90% we are depending on the import from Austria. Therefore, we have to really plan very well. Yeah, and the second, we have to guarantee that nobody of our employees get affected by coronavirus. To be good to be lucky, we are in the high-tech industry. Every one of us, our engineers, has a laptop. So therefore, we have developed remote engineering, remote commissioning, remote programming, and remote support, and remote training. This kind of. Therefore, we have really get rid of these kind of difficulties by technologies.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Poir, AT&S, biggest investor in China and in an industry that is the core of today's technological developments, not only in China, everywhere, and big in the media, I guess, this industry. How did it impact your operation? You have a second plant being built or ramped up. How did it affect you and how did you go through to it?
Thank you, Christina. Well, as the other panelists has just explained the situations, we are no different. This is one of the greatest challenge since Chinese New Year. Many of us are all over the places, some in Thailand, some in Burma, some like me in Singapore, and we have a plant also running at that time, and while we also have other plant waiting to start up. So for us, the first issue is how could we get all the people back? We hire about 8,000 employees here, and every workers are important to our operations because the whole flow of operations need to be done by someone of special skill. And without certain group back sufficiently, you cannot run your 24 hours operations. So that was the first challenge. So we managed to get all the people back. There are many means that we deploy it for the first time. We use electronic means to communicate with everyone. We do survey, we do checking to ensure that finally we can start the factory. And after the factory start, the next thing, the challenge is how do you get your resources on your materials and things like that. So that become another challenge. So, you know, this whole COVID are in different development stage. So in some stage, it's only domestic issue, and another stage, it become an international issue because you don't have flight, you don't have overseas support. So how do you deal with that? That become our next challenge, and we need to overcome. So far, we have managed to overcome all of this because we have a strong team that we put together for quite some time. Just prepare for something to happen, but it happened. So, and we use it, and fortunately, it works for us. Business-wise, we are doing pretty well because you know that there are so much of online workshop, online conferencing, online training, you know, all kind of internet banking, and more e-commerce. They are all pushing towards that. So the digitalizations has actually driven our business to a large extent, and that supported the growth of our business pretty well. That's the one trend that already existing, but the COVID is just pushing the speed of these transformations. And plus the 5G, it is in the wave of deploying by many places. So that also pushed the business. So we are doing pretty fine. We reported our half-year result just recently. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So actually my next round of questions would have been, what were your biggest challenges? You answered them almost, so I will go to the next round of questions. Thank you. That would be, it goes in the same direction. What were the lessons learned from this time which go beyond COVID? Mr. Xiao, could I start with you?
Thank you for this question. So, lesson learned is very important, is to be prepared to be agile. Agility is a key word. So, lesson learned for manufacturing industries is to try to improve the automation level and performance. So, during the COVID-19, So if nobody in the production, if the production works, they could help the whole world. Therefore, automation robots, to use robots for automated lines to produce the products is one lesson learned to be prepared for the future. Yeah. The second is, of course, COVID-19 has changed the whole world. For example, you have to prepare with high tech, for example, the remote training, digitalized training without physical contact. And these will kept as really what we have learned for the future. Yeah, and the other side is as BNR, we have perceived this crisis as opportunity, as chance for us to generate more value together with the customers. For example, we have established our MITC Machine Intelligence Development Center in China, and this helps a lot for the customer to improve their competitiveness for their products. And this is really what we have learned how to improve our business growth. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Poir. As you are both from the more same industry compared to others, would you agree with that? What were your lessons learned?
Yeah, I could share a bit here. I see that there are a lot of push towards regionalization or localizations. And I think that is important for a manufacturing business. You got to have your suppliers with a better setup in China. You got to have them have people better trained, and best if they have their manufacturing also close to you. So this is very crucial if you want to ensure continual business under a crisis situations. So this is one thing that we will for sure continue to work on that.
Okay. Kerstin, you're in the B2C sector. Do your lessons learned from the time compared to the two gentlemen, or?
Luckily, we are agile, I would say, more agile than some other countries, because I have been here now for 8 years, and you must overcome from time to time challenges which you would not face in Europe. So my lesson learned from this is you must be flexible. You must deal with every challenge which is coming. So our people now learned, do not go on traveling for Chinese New Year without your laptop, without your bank tokens. And also the communication was crucial during the crisis. So first, also we had to make sure that we have no COVID case. So we built up immediately an internal task force reporting who was traveling, where, who is stuck, where, when can he return, which IT devices does this person have with him or with her. Then we allocated the jobs. For example, if our accountant has not his laptop with him, but the marketing manager, he had to instruct the marketing manager via video system to do with his laptop his job. So I would say an agile job rotation in this case. We had to allocate to work to the people. They had access to the devices, to our infrastructure, and they had to deal with this job. And also in every single location, we had different rules from the government to observe. Some dealers, they must fully close down. Some other dealers, there was allowed to have at least 5 emergency staffs on duty. So it was very crucial to stay in touch with the government, with the local authorities, to get an overview about the rule in the special area, in the special district. And I think the secret of the success for us was, compared to other competitors or companies, the first day of the crisis were the first day of our recovery plan. Because we saw in some other companies, the people said, okay, we have crisis now, leaning back, and said, okay, we have crisis now, let's see. So what we immediately built up was really a task force for every single area, what I said, for the business, for the organization, and also for the government rules to observe and the epidemic prevention. And from the first day on, where the crisis started, we were looking already forward to the recovery. And I think this, to keep the tension up with the people and not leaning back and say, okay, crisis, and a do nothing scenario, I think this helped a lot, that we could really, we recovered within 2 months after the crisis fully. And we have this year a record year, which is not only our own effort, but we are also lucky to be in a top luxury industry, which also helped a lot.
Thank you. Benjamin, would be being agile as well the lesson learned from you, or how is it in logistics?
Yeah, being adaptable to change is a key these days in any ways, right? But I mean, in our industry, we help customers in their supply chain, and I think I would like to add what Mr. Pra said. We have learned to become more globalist. It is very important to have the local expertise, but then on the other hand, to have the global mindset, because we are connected to global trade. It needs the localization or regionalization, but still there are some products which are shipped overseas or coming from overseas. So it needs both, but the local expertise is very key on that. So that's the first point. The second point is, I think it gave us also a real push to gear up in our digitalization process. And I think we have this topic a little bit later on. That gave us some more pressure to develop something in this area, because it is absolutely key that our customers have transparency and see where the goods are in their supply chain, so they can push their sales and see what's going on there. So I think these were the 2 key points we learned out of it. Thank you.
Mr. Pra, we were talking about the production being ramped up. That's a question I tried to ask, not sure if all of you want to answer it. Had COVID a lasting impact on your plans for your China business? Did you reconsider your entire China or Asia strategy because of COVID, or probably it accelerated something that was there in place? If you can share something. If not, we go to another question.
Well, we continue our expansion in China. As you have read the news last year, we invested another €1 billion in Chongqing. So we will continue that expansion, while we still see very good prospect in the business of China, as well as all over the world for our kind of technologies. When we do our planning from now on, we definitely have to do more than just the usual stuff. We have to also add in parameters like COVID. Hopefully that it will go away in a sooner time. And there are also many other bigger considerations that we have to put into our bigger planning horizon in the future. But everything as it looks now, we are happy with the growth of China. We are happy with the development here, also the businesses. So we continue our expansion activities, our 1 billion investment that will take us for the next couple of years, so there wouldn't be any change. Yep.
Okay. Benjamin, what about you? Did you reconsider your Asia strategies? Because as you are Air Freight Asia.
Well, we of course we had some internal measurements. I think as everybody did, we looked into our costs, and that was also something, especially in February when things did not look so good. But then on the other hand, in terms of investments and plans, we pretty much stick to the plan. So I think we follow a little bit things in the Chinese language. I learned that the word crisis contains 2 characters. It means danger and also opportunity. So we like more the opportunity part. So this year we have established a company in South China which is specifically focused on the e-commerce business, because I think that's something we see the future, and obviously has confirmed here in the panel discussion as well, that people like to buy things online or at home. So that's a part, an area we see tremendous growth in the future. Then in Asia itself, we have had the opportunity to open this year Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and also Malaysia. So, and all this business, obviously, and these countries opening up there and expanding our footprint is always linked to China, because obviously everybody's doing business with China. So I think that gives us some great synergies. And also in Europe, we went through an M&A. So there we're going to expand. So in terms of investments in our field, the way we see it, such a we call crisis can also be an opportunity to set the right framework to develop further into the future.
Thank you. Kerstin, you, I think during COVID times, finished your renovation or upgrade of Hangzhou, of your showroom there, right?
Thank you to mention it. So we have here really the first one and the only one CI full digital showroom of a Porsche dealer worldwide in Hangzhou, and we're very proud of this flagship. And yeah, to answer your question, for Porsche Holding, China was already very important in the past. I would say we even became a subgroup more important now after the crisis. We became a role model how to cope with it. As the crisis started in Europe, I got phone calls. Oh, can you please share your experience with us? What are your recommendations? So we enjoyed this positive attention, and now to teach Europe a little bit how to deal with such crisis. And definitely we will go on with the business here in China. We will grow, we will further invest. As I said, we are one of the most important subgroups of Porsche Holding, and our target is to deliver the best mobility service to all our customers in all our top luxury brands, with new showrooms, new CIs, and definitely our target is still to double our dealer network here within the next 10 years. This is also a commitment from Volkswagen AG with a full investment budget for us.
Wow, double the dealership. Mr. Xiao, you already mentioned that you set up a new technical center here. How will this continue? Do you have more expansion plans in China and Asia?
Thank you. So, as you know, China this year, within BNR group, China this year has become the second largest country for the business within BNR, just after Germany. Yeah, so China is gaining more focus and weighting factor from the company. Therefore, so there's new established machine intelligence technology center, which help customers generating more values. So I would say in this year, so if I look around, the entities today, so most of the machine manufacturing companies, they have grown this year, nearly everyone double digits as we. So I think the reason is that China is very flexible. China is very open. Only China is ready to deliver machines. So therefore, China is receiving more orders than the rest of the world. And the second, the value orientation of the Chinese manufacturing industries, they are changing their directions from only pricing strategy to value orientation. So therefore, we perceive this is really our opportunity, big opportunity and chances to help customers in China to develop their machines with more value. Therefore, this in Asia, for example, China has more focus. Yeah, China is more focused still on the spotlight. We have established local R&D to develop dedicated products for the local market. This is the right direction in the future for BNR.
Thank you. So in the preparation for this panel, the lady and the three gentlemen told me, "Oh, Christina, you are quite ambitious with your 3 question rounds. You will never get through with them." Now we go through with them. Now I give you, before I ask the audience, and if we check if we have some questions online, I give you kind of a free round. Benjamin, you said we talk about digitalization later. Do you want to add something there?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so the digitalization part is something we are in this world pushed through to develop in this area. So I think that's well known in the industry that everybody wants to know where his goods are. So this year we have launched a new customer portal called myGW, which is very user-friendly, simply to use, just in order to give them transparency and to see at any given time where their goods are, because I think not everybody's in the office, not everybody can talk to each other, and so that's a very key element to help our customers to do ease of business. Having said that, we call it in our organization, we would like to have it best of two worlds. Having said that, digitalization is very important, but as we experience now through this last 9 months, it is also absolutely key that we have people with knowledge at the ground and know on how to handle certain businesses. Yeah, when we talked about it in April, when we had these PPE goods on air freight going to overseas to help the rest of the world. When we see now how equipment is short on ocean freight, how the railway services to Europe are tight as well. Belly capacity did not come back, freighter solutions are needed. So all these kind of things need really, really intense expertise of individuals and knowledge on how to handle and how to serve and how to help our customers in their supply chain. And of course, at the end, it will still be visible on the on any digitalization platforms, but it explains a little bit that this is what it's behind, and it is also related to some big customers' feedback. It is really what's currently needed is the knowledge and the expertise of supply chain professionals to understand from end to end what's required from procurement operations, and at the end of the day, the shipping or an ocean freight becomes a minor part. It is really the end to end which needs the expertise, and we do hope that we deliver this to our customer.
Thank you. Kerstin, I mean, what I've heard from you, you are here as well, very far ahead with digitalization in sales, but you mentioned as well the feedback to head office, to very often we think about, we get information from Austria, from our headquarters. You told us, yeah, we told them what we did here. Is this a big lesson learned for you?
I would not lesson learned. It's a comfortable position. We are very proud, and we behave sometimes a little bit like teacher now. So dear headquarter, you know, so do this and do that. But I want to share with you from the P2C point of view, because we are a more traditional business. We are an offline business. We have also in sales digitalization, but it's still happening more in the showroom than online. What we learned is during the lockdown phase, also our customers were locked down at home. And what they did was to use the car configurator. So really our online presence with car configurating, they were nearly overloaded the service because all the people, it was boring at home. Everybody was locked down and they configured their cars. They were looking, oh, what could we do after the crisis? How can we indulge yourself? So they were looking already forward to consume and consumption after the crisis. And this was part of the success, that immediately as the dealers were open, we had a pipeline full of potential customers, and they were happy to get out again. And this is also the mindset here in China, which we really love a lot, because the European style is more, oh, we have now crisis, so let's start saving. And here in China, they are more open and not immediately starting saving the money and looking, oh, what's going on. So, and also the investment environment for us is very positive because we saw the reaction of the government. They were quick, they were flexible, they were really interested. So also meeting with us, asking us, what would you need to recover the business? And I think they set the right initiatives to push the private consumption again. So this is also a very positive thing which I would like to share with you. And this was for us, I would say, also a crucial factor of the success, the good cooperation of the government and how they managed the crisis here.
Thank you. So, is there a question from the audience? Otherwise, I got one via our online event platform, but is there a question at the moment from the audience to our panelists? We would have a micro by our colleague, Mr. Haulor. No, so far if there's none. One was, and I think that might be something for all of you, apparently, do you think COVID and all the changes, they will have a long-lasting influence on business culture and etiquette in China? The same like everyone's talking about more online meetings, less business travel. Do you think this will have a lasting impact? Mr. Pa, would you, if you want, otherwise if a colleague has.
I hope that it has an impact because our business is very much depend on connectivity, digitalizations. Well, let's come back to this question. The COVID, to some extent, to a large extent even, it has changed the lives of everyone. So it is also not changing the life of everyone. It is changing the way that we conduct our business. We used to need to bring the customers to the plant, to audit the plant, to verify the plant, and so on. Now we could do it through VR. So we just bring them, do a virtual tour on the plant, do a virtual audit on our company. So these are the things that are happening. And I'm not saying that this might replace everything in the long term once the COVID recover, but you will see that some of these tools will be used. And they are very good tools, actually. We are learning every day as well. There are new things coming out. There are new ways that we are doing. And we are even doing a workshop now using online. And can you imagine that you have people all over the place that you start to go into the drawing board and start drawing. So we try to do this kind of thing also. So maybe some of you have tried that, but for me, it's the first time. And you have to say that struggle a little bit for the first time. But these are the things that I think it will continue to shape the way that we do our job. Just like we all know in China, so much things are online, highly interconnected, but in overseas, not everything are the similar way. And some government are really pushing very hard. People should go for online purchase and so on. You should not even appear. So these are the things that are happening and is pushing very hard through the whole world. So I think that there will be effect, and that impact will last for quite some time, maybe longer or maybe forever. So we will see. Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Xiao, you said this beforehand already that you had started those virtual setups of your machines to get your automation solutions running. Was this now pushed further, or did you have this already in plan beforehand?
So I don't know how long this COVID-19 would last, but the changes will remain. So this crisis has changed our life and has changed also the way of our communication. This will remain. For example, people to train people. So we have developed a new concept, for example, with the digitalized laboratories for training people, for training people with in a digital way. This is the one. The second one is we are supporting customers of ourselves to change the way of construction or design by means of simulation in digitalized way. Yeah, to develop construction new machines in a digital way. The third point is as a lesson learned, we have to help customers build up flexible production lines. So flexible so that the product changeover can be regulated by software, for example, yeah, controlled by software. And these the changes will be kept for a long time. Yeah.
Okay. So once again, is there a question from the audience in the meantime? No. So we are very good in time. Is there anything one of our panelists would really like to share, something that's close to your heart when you prepared for this event or when you thought you're going to meet representatives of other Austrian companies? Something you still want to share with us? Okay, so I guess we will, there was a question. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it.
Yes,
yeah. I found it now.
I will, but if you allow, I will take the liberty to ask a question as well. I mean, besides COVID, we have a new 5 years plan preparing, we have geopolitical questions, we have digitalizations as you developed. And I mean, in those last months, we are still experiencing a lot of Austrian companies that are interested in the Chinese market, want to come to China for the first time, even some small and young company startups. Do you think, what is your outlook? Do you think there is still a lot of opportunity for Austrian companies without experience to come to the Chinese market?
Who wants to start? Kerstin, yes, please.
I would say definitely yes. So I think when you want to be really in the moving forward environment, also according digitalization, when you look at all these startups in China, the tech area, the big companies, new IPOs also in the payment sectors are coming. So China is still the place to be. China is still part of the future.
Yeah, I certainly would agree. I mean, it a little bit depends on the verticals. Yeah, I mean, what kind of business you're in. But if you want to be a global player, then there is no way out to bypass China. This is the way to be. And we can see it obviously what happened this year in terms of trade and the way it has recovered here comparison to the rest of the world. It has developed extremely fast, and it also, as you said, it fits somehow in this dual circulation, which was mentioned in the 5-year plan. Again, with this local setup to have the global expertise, but also be locally here, and the opportunities in certain verticals they are open.
You want to add something?
Well, I'm a Singaporean, but I have contributed 20 years of my life in China, and I have seen how it grows, tremendous growth. And I don't think that we have reached the end point. It is still much further we can go. So there are opportunities around. You mentioned quite a few things, geopolitics, all kind of things. I think that diversification is important. But if anyone has not got a foothold in China, should come and experience this growth, because it's nowhere near the end yet.
Okay. So I want to share my opinion. So I would say now there are 4 points for absorbing investment in China. So this is an advertisement for the government. So on the Chinese market, the first one is the manufacturing is going from a pricing focused way to value orientation. This is the first change. The second advantage is the agility of the Chinese market, very flexible. You see during the COVID-19, Chinese industry has reacted very quickly. The third point is the potential. The potential of the Chinese market is huge. The fourth, as mentioned by Porsche, yeah, the support of the Chinese government. is really excellent. So these 4 reasons are the basics for coming to China, invest in China.
Thank you very much, Mr. Xiao. And this somehow leads me to a question we got from our colleagues in Hong Kong. I'm not sure if it's from our colleagues in Hong Kong or participants in Hong Kong, but they asked, do you think our Austria Connect community can meet again in person next year for such an event? And from what I heard, that there are still business opportunities in very various sectors. And from the interest we had, we definitely want to have another meeting where probably we can bring a lot or more of those young companies or those who are not yet with a presence in China, that they can come, experience it and talk with you in person, because that's our goal. And as my colleague, Mr. Patrick Sagmeister beforehand said, and as well, if you heard the opening remarks of the representatives, again, of the Chamber of Commerce and the Ministry of Economic and Digital Affairs, they all hope that we're going to meet again next year in person in China. And we are quite positive about it. I know there have been recent developments. Let's see how this works out. But at the moment, we're all positive. So this leads me now to thank my panelists, Kerstin, Benjamin, Mr. Xiao, Mr. Poir. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with the audience, for as well being so open about your experiences and your plans for the next years. Please give them a big round of applause. And obviously, I want to thank as well all the speakers during the session 1 and 2, which we all saw virtually. We want to thank the Austrian ambassador to China, Mr. Sift, Jörg Wuttke, the president of the European Chamber of Commerce in China, Mr. Marcos Zhou from KPMG in Hong Kong, Angelika Lang from Invest Hong Kong, and Tobias Grabler from Topo Solutions for sharing their insights. We started out with the global perspective, a macroeconomic from Beijing. Then we went into digitalization and services industry in Hong Kong. Obviously, events like Austria Connect would never be possible without the support of our generous sponsors. Our thanks this year go to IST, AT&S, Blum, Burkhardt & Partner, Cargo Partner, Erste Group, Gebrüder Weiss, H2 Motion, Invest Hong Kong, Klinger Shanghai, and Raiffeisen International. Thank you very much for supporting the Austrian community this year again. One last thing for all the participants, those here in the room and those following us online, please remember, you have the exclusive access to the videos of all the panels for the next 4 weeks. We will send you next week a link where and how you can find those videos. It will be on the B2Match platform and is exclusively for registered participants. One more, yes, last thing. This event was, as always, Austria Connect is a combined effort, but this year it was a combined effort of our offices in Beijing, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And my big thanks go to, and I hope he's watching us now, to Franz Rössler and his team in Hong Kong. They took care of the technical setup. They were the guys and girls sitting on the screen, showing us how to take care of preparing the presentations and everything. Without them, it would not be possible. Thank you very much. And the same is true for my team here in Shanghai. They did a great job. We all tried something new. We tried something virtual. I hope it worked out well so far. We haven't heard of any real glitches. If there were, please bear with us. We tried it. It was the first time that we did a blended event like this. So this now concludes the first 3 sessions of Austria Connect China 2020. We here in Shanghai, you, the participants, are the lucky ones. We're going to continue with a networking reception on the occasion of Austria Connect and the Austrian group participation at the 3rd China International Import Expo. We're going to start in about 30-40 minutes in this room. That's why I ask you afterwards to please join us in the lobby for an aperitif. We have Austrian wine and beer that we can afterwards enjoy a dinner together. Thank you so much for being with us.